If somebody had bad credit right now, but they wanted to get money to start their business without coming out of pocket, and they wanted to go and use the bank, how can they do that?
Oh, 15,000.
Okay.
That's the most I ever did so far in a month. Just, and that's, you can kind of say that's part-time because I'm not full-time with it yet. It's a lot of losses I took with it, I'll say, but I think I learned a lot as far as just, whenever you're trying to go through things, you're going to go through some stuff. Making my content too. I was faithfully on TikTok every day posting content about credit. It's pretty much whenever I was learning, it's going to be a hard life for you if you don't trust credit, honestly. I would honestly try to understand their perspective first, because I feel like we can't live without credit. I'm only 24 years old. I got a lot of life to live. I feel like if I bet on myself early, I won't wait till I'm 30 and 40 wishing I would have did something.
How is your income right now? Do you have the capability to leave your job right now if you wanted to? Welcome to the Rich Conversations podcast, man. Today we got my dog Anthony with me. He flew a long way down here. Right now we're in Miami shooting this podcast brought to you. We're going to go over, his backstory, how he started off in the industry and how he got into entrepreneurship to get where he is now. Enjoy the episode. It's going to be a long episode full of good education. So sit down, watch, and let's get right into it. What's going on, Anthony? How you doing, man?
I'm doing good, man. How are you?
I'm good, man. So just introduce yourself to the people, let them know how you started and know how you got into it and where you from.
Most definitely, man. So my name is Anthony Green. I'm from Detroit, Michigan, born and raised. And I ain't gonna lie, I always had a entrepreneurship mindset, I would say, since I was probably about 17, 18. It took me some time to actually, find my niche in what I want to do. Like I sold clothes before. I was into, cryptocurrency a lot, just trading, stuff like that.
How was that for you?
It was good. It was just, it's a lot of losses I took with it, I'll say. But I think I learned a lot as far as just, whenever you go through stuff, obviously, whenever you're trying to go through things, you're going to go through some stuff, and I think it's important to understand, like, you're going to just, sometimes you're going to feel like things and just, you don't want to make, like, you want to make sure that it's not, the end of you, and I feel like I bounced back from it and learned a lot from it too. So
okay. How was your upbringing?
It was good, man. I came from a, nice family. I got one sister, my older sister. Both of my parents, they've been married for 24 years.
Okay.
It's definitely been a blessing. Definitely was raised in church and stuff like that too. Mm-hmm. I feel like, I was raised right. My dad he's an entrepreneur too. Mm-hmm. Like, he got his own production company, pictures and stuff like that. I kind of learned that too growing up. So I kind of learned entrepreneurship a little early. It was just, me finding my own path and what I want to do.
Okay. What was your first step into entrepreneurship? I know you mentioned you were you said selling clothes.
Yeah.
Was that the first thing you did?
That was the first. No, it's crazy. No, the first thing I did was sold face masks.
Sold face masks.
Yeah.
Explain a little bit about that.
For sure. So when COVID came, I was in college at the time, and we got sent back home from college. And next thing you know, I'm trying to figure out how to make money, and I'm like, you know what? I got a sewing machine at home. I'm gonna just kind of teach myself how to start sewing. Next thing you know, I was selling face masks about 20 to 40 a week. I was making some decent money doing it. Obviously it wasn't like, long lasting, but I learned like a different skill set, and it kind of got me into selling clothes too. So
okay. Now, how did you fund that? How did you get the money to do that?
Honestly, saving. When I was in college, I was getting refund checks, and I was like, my dad kind of taught me how to save money growing up. So I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna have to save this for a rainy day, and I kind of used the money I was making with the sewing machines and stuff like that to, start something new too.
Okay. You was in college, or you were in college for?
Engineering.
Okay, that's a good
engineering. I was great at the actual skill, but the math, it wasn't so, wasn't so good. You know what I'm saying? I was, it's crazy. I was actually in college for engineering, but I took college classes in high school too. So I thought I was gonna really be an engineer. You know what I'm saying? But life turned out way different than that.
What was the turning point where you like, nah?
Calculus 2. That messed me up completely. That was my first math class in my semester. Everybody had easy classes. I was already a sophomore in college. That was my first year, and I'm just like, man, I was going through it. Couldn't do couldn't do my homework, couldn't do the tests. I'm just like, you know what? Maybe, I need something else. And I changed my major to business after that.
Okay. What do you currently do as of right now in your life?
Right now, man, I'm a credit specialist. I can teach you and actually show you how you can fix your credit, build your credit from scratch, and then get access to funding after credit repair and credit building.
Okay. Explain a little bit about how you got into that.
Last year around this time, I was trying to get me a new vehicle. My credit wasn't the best. I had probably a 600 plus credit score, a maxed out credit card with Capital One. And I was really just trying to figure out what I was going to do to get a new vehicle. told my parents I want to get a new car. I'm just like, okay, I got the money saved up, but I can't get approved for no vehicle with bad credit and having the max credit card. So I was doing YouTube University at the time. I was just trying to figure out what's the best ways to get a good credit score. And, I found out that you can really just leverage credit and to get an auto loans to help you get a nice vehicle. And that's all I wanted, So once I started doing that, I started looking at just different videos in general. And I came across you actually. Came across you, man, and it kind of ever since then, it changed my life. I can definitely say, and I'm just happy, dog. I'm not gonna lie.
No, sure, okay. And what way, like, how did we start out and get you familiar with what you do now?
So Instagram ads, Facebook ads. I noticed you from that specifically. We got on the call, and next thing you kind of just ran down the whole play for me on how to build credit, what's the best ways to leverage your credit into assets, just teaching me pretty much how I can better myself with this understanding how credit works. And it definitely played a part of my life now.
Okay, once you learned the information, how did you go and implement the information to help other people?
Making my content too. I was faithfully on TikTok every day posting content about credit. Just pretty much whenever I was learning, I already knew I didn't know the information, so there got to be 100 people where I'm from that don't know the information either. So I was posting 7 videos a day on TikTok regarding to credit, and next thing you know, I had about 5 to 7 videos that did like 2.3 million. Within a matter of just 60 days of posting content. So it definitely changed my life, man. I'm just, it's crazy. It's definitely crazy.
The first time, you had a lot of traction. How was the initial clients you were dealing with? And how was the experience of people now, giving you money for a service you can provide for them?
It was definitely, I was very appreciative, I'd say, for even just watching my content and trusting me to actually help them solve their problem. It was definitely interesting to just pretty much learning other people's situations, like what they was going through, how come they couldn't get approved for certain things, and I was kind of excited to actually help them because I know how I was when I couldn't get approved for stuff. And once I learned the information, now I'm just executing and teaching them how to do the same thing as well.
Okay. What made you even interested in getting into entrepreneurship?
Honestly, COVID kind of got me like to the point where I'm like, you know what, I don't know if a job is something I want to do full time anymore. It was just too time consuming, I would say. I feel like we are definitely, We are definitely like, we can't get to our fullest potential with just working a job forever. And that's something I don't want to do. I just feel like working for yourself is better than anything.
Okay. Do you currently still have a job?
I do still currently have a job, and the goal is to eventually get out of that and, do this full time, do credit repair, business funding full time. And that's like one of my main goals this year.
What do you currently do?
I'm a truck driver for Frito-Lay. So I'm the person that put the chips in the Myers and the Targets and the Krogers and all that. I do the merchandising, and we get like salary and commission and stuff like that for it too.
Okay. Not to get like into what you have specifically, but like how is your income right now? And do you have the capability to leave your job right now if you wanted to?
Absolutely. Honestly, I say on the podcast, honestly. So my job, I probably make about between $4,000 to $5,000 a month with my job. But that's just off the job alone. But as of right now, I can definitely say I can definitely leave my job. Now, it's really all about me taking that risk. Obviously, everybody don't do it, but that's one of my goals this year, to take that risk, man, because, I'm only 24 years old. I got a lot of life to live. And I feel like if I bet on myself early, I won't wait till I'm 30 and 40 wishing I would have did something.
So while you've been working, and you've also been being an entrepreneur at the same time, making money with your business. So those combined, like, you said you do 45,000 at the job, but in your business, what's the most you did in a month in your business?
15,000.
Okay.
That's the most I ever did so far in a month. Just, and that's, you can kind of say that's part-time because I'm not full-time with it yet. That's just really by me just executing on information, reaching out to people, making networks, coming out to events, just networking myself because, I'm from Detroit. Not too many of us know about credit there, and I'm just trying to put myself in rooms to put me in a different position to just learn information, execute on it, and help other people too.
So what's one thing in the industry where you found like a lot of people don't actually help people with seriously, and you see that you're different, put it like that?
I would say credit building. A lot of people just do the credit repair and then just leave them after that. I'm really interested in helping people build out their credit profile from scratch. Right, that goes for implementing credit builder accounts to their credit report. Just to name a few, you got Kickoff, you got Self, you got BoomPay, you got Ava. We got rent reporters as well. If you have rent currently, you can literally report your rent to your credit report to help you in your credit history and your credit age. just to name a few. But I think that's really important because obviously after credit repair, you know, you need to have a structured profile as well to get approved for what you want. That goes for like auto loans, obviously, and you can't get to that with having a thin credit profile. So I feel like with me, I like building credit from scratch specifically.
What is a credit profile?
A credit profile is pretty much when it comes to just understanding what's on your report, the negatives, the positives. Obviously, you have the goals to have 100% payment history. You don't want to have no lates on there. And then from there, you can go into a credit mix. So that goes for like looking at, see if you have any loans, any credit cards, any lines of credit on your credit report. And then from there, I would say your utilization, obviously, you don't want to have max credit cards. With that alone, you can literally destroy your credit by having max credit cards because that interest on the back end is probably going to hurt you. Yeah.
If somebody had bad credit right now, but they wanted to get money to start their business without coming out of pocket, and they wanted to go and use the bank, how can they do that with their current situation, having bad credit?
Now, there are one or two ways about this. So if you do have bad credit and you're trying to get access to funding, now, one thing I will say is that first, we got to see if your business is making money, right? Because you can get funding if your business is making money, but it's called revenue-based funding, right? But only thing about that, even though you're making money, the interest rate might be a little high still. But that's why before we even get to that, I want to get into credit repair, like ASAP. Because obviously it goes to get a maximum amount of funding that you can possibly get at the lowest rates.
Okay. Now, what would that consist of for the business owner? So they'll come to you for the credit repair. How do they start with that? Like, what's the process like?
For sure. So the first thing I always let people know that we need access to your FICO Score 8 credit report, because that's where the banks look at to see what you can get approved for. And that goes for like loans, auto loans, lines of credit, business credit in general. We would go over the credit report together to pretty much see like what exactly is on the report. That goes for the positive, the negatives, the inquiries, whatever you have that's negative. We're going to go through every single step of the process together. And then from there, we have a system to now you can be able to track your disputes with us. So now you pretty much know what's going on, the day things is sent out, the day the results come back, and also the laws that's being used for credit repair. So now you have an understanding that we are a legit business.
Okay. What makes you different from everybody else?
Being honest, being super honest, really having a conversation, getting to know my clients, not just, getting the money and that's it. I feel like a lot of people nowadays, they don't really ask questions about what is their client situation. I try to really go in depth and actually understand where they're coming from. Because obviously, if I was in their shoes, I would want to get access to help. And obviously, the goal is to find somebody that's willing to help you understand what's going on. So I get on Zoom calls for all of my clients.
Okay. Now, if somebody came to you and you fix their credit, what opportunities does that open up for them?
To start a business for sure. After credit repair, we help people get access to capital. But I always let people know before we get access to capital, the goal is to have a game plan on what you want to do, right? Obviously, you don't want to get access to this capital and don't have a plan on what you want to do with the money. So before we even get to that point, I always let people know, find out what you want to do, and then from there, let's find you a mentor in the space that you want to be in. So now we have a better chance of you using that money to start off right with your business.
If somebody came to you wanting credit repair and you cleaned their credit up, what are some things that you could help them access besides business funding or personal funding?
Getting access to a vehicle, I would say, and also renting homes. I think that's definitely industry where you can make a lot of money in, I would say. And I feel like, letting them get to that point of, getting access to that, I think it'd be good for them.
Okay. Now, what's the biggest credit mistake that people make when they first, even playing with their credit?
Maxing out their credit card, closing their credit card, because if you close any credit cards, you will lose your credit history and your credit age. A lot of my clients do it. Like my last client had about 40 closed accounts, and they had no credit history at all after everything was removed. I feel like you want to make sure that you always have your credit cards open. The goal is to be able to leverage that long credit history within time too.
Okay. What advice would you give someone financially starting out, trying to better their life with credit?
I would say build with credit unions. I know Navy Federal is a good one. You can have your own internal score with them. That pretty much means that they don't really go off with the bureaus and stuff say they have their own internal score. So now the more products that you use of theirs, the better it can be when it comes to getting approved for auto loans and credit cards as well.
So what's the first step someone can take right now, credit wise? Once they leave this video, what can they do right now that's gonna benefit them?
I would say pull up the report first. Don't look on Credit Karma. Experian is a great app, but I'll say partner with a credit monitoring agency specifically So you can pretty much see what's on the report that's positive and negative.
What's different from a credit monitoring agency and someone like Credit Karma or Experian?
So Credit Karma shows your advantage scores. That's not the accurate scores at all. A credit monitoring agency show you a FICO score on all 3 bureaus. It's important to see those because now a lot of people have these questions on how come their credit scores are different on different credit bureaus. But you have to understand it's obviously 3 different bureaus. That pretty much mean these credit cards, these companies, these banks pull from different bureaus. So the goal is to the goal is to find out where these banks pulling from. So now you pretty much know which credit score is going to be affected whenever you do go apply for something.
Okay. What's some things you've helped your clients get approved for, or what's some wins you've had for your clients?
I had a bunch of clients get approved for vehicles this year. My last client got approved for a BMW M4. He was only 22 years old. And then in January, one of my clients got approved for an AMG at 18 at 6% interest rate.
Okay. How do you feel when you do, have a success story coming from, your service?
I feel amazing. To be able to change somebody's life just by learning information. I feel like, I seen a quote by Nipsey one day. He was pretty much saying that you have to measure your success by how many people that you bless. And I feel like with that, you can be able to change people's lives and also get blessed as well. And I kind of, take that to the chin with that one.
Okay. Now, when you were dealing with your own credit, how did you start your business without coming out of pocket?
Without coming out of pocket?
Yeah, like when you were starting your own business, the business you have now, how did you get to where you are without using so much of your, income? Yeah.
Really just content, I would say. Posting consistently every day, not really knowing what the result would be. Sometimes you just have to just work what you have, right? I feel like, a lot of us try to make excuses sometimes when it comes to saying you don't got this, saying you don't got that. As long as you have a phone, you have an opportunity to make some money. So like I said, I was posting consistently on TikTok, posting on Instagram daily. And from there, my engagement from those reels and posts contracted leads to me, to be able to, start my business.
So now when it comes to your own credit, how did you personally use your credit to, invest in your business or have the capital from the bank to, that you have access to now,
I was leveraging my credit by putting into ads. I feel like, with ads, you can contract a lot of leads, a lot of engagement to build your profile when it comes to Instagram and TikTok and YouTube and stuff like that. I feel like, leveraging with that alone can help you just generate a higher income in your business and meet other people that's doing the same thing, if not better.
Okay. So what's one thing that you want to take moving forward? What do you see yourself basically from now? In 5 years, what do you see yourself
5 years
doing this?
Of doing this, I would say a millionaire for sure. I feel like with the network I'm seeing right now that I'm starting to meet, I feel like, everybody partner up, everybody learning together, executing together, we can get to a different level. Because obviously doing it by yourself can't work. Trust me, like I tried doing this for 6 months by myself, barely getting 3 clients, in a week, just trying to figure it out. I feel like, I had to be around people that's doing something. That's the goal, is to be around people that's doing better than you. So now you can learn from that environment. Now you can go back home and just execute. That's definitely what I'm on right now.
Okay. What motivates you to keep going?
My family. Like a lot of us, we are entrepreneurs at home, but I'm just trying to be in a different space as far as like putting myself in different rooms. Like everybody in Detroit, we are hustlers, we grinders, but sometimes you can't just do everything you want to do in one place. So that's why I put myself in different environments to try to see what I can learn from other people and take it back home and, teach somebody else.
Okay. What are some things people should stop doing with their credit?
Maxing out their credit cards. I would definitely say that a lot of people have these high limit credit cards, 20K limits, and they maxing them out. I would definitely say to, be careful when you do that, because the interest rate on these cards nowadays is ridiculous, especially if you have Capital One. I've been seeing it in 36%, 40%, and it gets to a point where if you continue to pay the minimum on them high interest credit cards, the interest is going to pretty much be the same amount as the minimum payment. You would never pay that card off. And then you're going to be wondering how come your balance is not going down.
What would you say to someone who doesn't trust credit repair?
It's going to be a hard life for you if you don't trust credit repair, honestly. I would honestly try to understand their perspective first because, I feel like we can't live without credit, honestly. You can't get whatever. You can't get nothing that you want without it. You need a vehicle. You need a house. You need a mortgage one day. You need an auto loan eventually to get what you want. I would try to understand what they how would you live without it first.
What if I already tried to fix my credit, but I got scammed?
I would try to figure out what the situation is to kind of give them some guidance at least. I feel like, or give them better understanding of how my process works and guide them through the process of how I do things. So now I have a better understanding on how we can at least move forward and me helping them.
What if I just feel like everybody out there is scam?
That's a crazy. I mean, there are people out there that definitely think that.
Yeah.
There are people that think that. I would try to just understand where they're coming from, obviously, but kind of reintroduce on how credit works, the ins and outs, the do's, the don'ts, and let them get an understanding on how I do credit repair myself, and get them the information so now they can be able to search up what I'm doing as far as the laws that's being used when it comes to fixing their credit, and have a better understanding of how we can get them started and boost their credit score up within time too.
Okay. What's some closing statements you would have to your viewers to tell them, about their credit situation, or what's something you would leave them with to sit on,
I would tell people to work with a professional, ask questions when it comes to how their disputes is going, ask for some results, pretty much get a better understanding on how people do business when it comes to credit repair. And then I would try to help people get access to capital too, because a lot of us we tend to save money, and it takes a long time to save a lot of money. I feel like with business, credit, or just credit in general, you can get access to a lot of money fast, to a degree, and then you can be able to leverage that to start a business or invest in yourself to learn more information.
What impact do you want to leave on the people you work with?
That I do good services, that I definitely help people, and not just there for the money. And then I'm always here for more help, even outside doing business with you. If you ever have questions regarding to how you can get approved for certain things, or you want to get an increase on your credit card, I'm always here to help. Just give me a call, or we can obviously get on the call just to figure everything out.
So this is a good episode, man. How can they find you?
So my Instagram is Mr. Pace Yourself. On Instagram, on Facebook, Mr. Pace Yourself, and also on TikTok, Mr. Pace Yourself.
Okay. Now, it's been a good episode, y'all. It's filled with a lot of game. We have more to come, definitely. If you enjoyed the video, subscribe. Make sure you go to the link below and go to the description, go to the Instagram, check them out. Yeah, man, make sure you get your credit fixed. You can't do nothing in life without having your credit fixed. You can't start no business. You can't get no car unless you want to go pay your arm and a leg. That's up to you. But to the next one, we'll see y'all.
See ya.